Start off by thanking the community for their incredible response to 8 p.m. last night in coming forward. They've heard the call to be tested, and they have responded in numbers that we have never before experienced. Last night we managed to get 13,692 people to come forward for tests, which is quite incredible. That compares, in the last 3 weeks, we got up to 10,902 at one stage, but also down in the low 4,000. So to get to more than 13,500 people coming forward, 13,692 is incredible. So I want to thank the community and to say to the entire community, keep it up. The only way we will know how this virus is behaving through our community is to have people coming forward for testing with the slightest itch in their throat, the slightest feeling of sickness, the slightest temperature. Come forward, come forward. We need you to come forward. The other really great news out of that massive number, that 13,692 people who came forward, was we had just five people tested positive, which puts us amongst one of the best jurisdictions in the world. It means that of all the people tested, we have 0.04% of people who are coming forward are actually found to be positive. So that's an amazing outcome. It's taken us now to 8 p.m. last night to 294,949 people have been tested. 294,949 tests across the state. So we're rapidly closing in on 300,000 tests, which is again an incredible outcome. Of that 294,949 tests that have been done, 291,898, repeat that number, 291,898 have proved negative. So what it tells us is that New South Wales is doing incredibly well. The community are listening to the messages. I think we've all heard that the basic message is social distancing, social distancing, social distancing. And that has been listened to very well. On top of that, people have got the fact that I've seen it regularly. People are washing their hands or using the appropriate hygiene products more than probably in the history of this state. And that is also something which is making a huge difference. And they're also largely getting the message of stay home if you're feeling the slightest bit ill. It's not a message that Australians have ever really responded to before. The idea of actually getting forward and working and doing what you need to do. Aussies like to work. Australians like to work. The residents in New South Wales like to work. So to actually get to the point where people are staying home and hearing that message is fantastic. I also want to stress that of the 3,051 cases, that have tested positive, the fantastic news is that 2,504 people are well again. So 82%. In fact, it's probably higher than that, and I'll ask Dr. McAnulty to explain in a moment just why it probably is higher than that, but that's the basic maths. It would appear that it's probably far better than that. Also, as we stand here on the weekend of Mother's Day, I just want to remind the community that everything you've done to date needs to be stepped up. Tomorrow, keep your mum safe. When you go to visit your mum, do what we have asked you to do, which is to keep that social distancing. I know it's tough. It's really tough to not be able to hug your mum or kiss your mum, but it would be the wisest course to not do that. To go and enjoy her company, to actually talk to her and to value her as we all do on Mother's Day, but to be careful, to be really careful. I have to remind the community, particularly as we want to keep our mums safe on this Mother's Day, no vaccine means we are still vulnerable and we need vigilance. No vaccine, we are still vulnerable, we need vigilance. So please, please, please make sure that you comply with that basic rule of social distancing, good hand hygiene, and of course, if you're contemplating going anywhere, don't go there. Don't go to work and don't go to your mum's if you're feeling sick. Any illness at all, don't go. Don't go. It's not what you would want for your mum. I also want to just announce that the government has committed $12.7 million to a new position called the Assistant in Medicine. We still have to prepare, the government is still preparing, the New South Wales government is still preparing for the possibility that we'll have outbreaks. As we start considering, and we had the National Cabinet decision yesterday to talk about and to consider 3 stages, can I say that those 3 stages all have risks associated with them. There is no question that until we have a vaccine, we need to understand in releasing some of the rules that we've all come to know and to comply with, we need to understand there are risks, and there are increased risks. So if we do have an outbreak that requires the maximum use of all of our health staff, our ICUs, we need to also be preparing for that. And that is being done. $12.7 million to take on medical students as assistants in medicine, final year medical students. And those final year medical students, obviously, many of them are already working in hospitals as part of their training. They will still have ongoing training, but they'll also be on a part-time basis appointed to a new position, a COVID position, which is the assistant in medicine. And I want to thank those students who will step forward, I'm sure. I've already had students saying to me that they would willingly step forward because that's what brought them into medicine. So thank you very much for that. I'm going to ask now Dr McAnulty to update us on that medical issue that I referred to before, but also any of the other medical issues. And then I'll ask Deputy Commissioner Warboys for his comments on policing-related matters. Dr. Mac.
We've been hearing